Ever wondered what not to do if you want to live past 100? This episode might just change how you think about aging forever. Welcome to Elder Secrets, where we uncover the quiet wisdom of those who've lived the longest. Today, we're diving into the 10 surprising things centenarians never do, and why avoiding them might be the key to a longer, healthier life. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We explore complex topics, pull out the key insights, really, to help you stay well-informed.
Great to be diving in.
Today, we're tackling something I think fascinates everyone. Longevity. Why do some people sail past 100, still full of life, while others don't?
It really is captivating, isn't it? Seeing folks not just reach that age, but genuinely thrive. They stay curious, connected. It's remarkable.
Absolutely. So this deep dive, we're calling it the centenarian's path, living beyond a century. And our mission today is maybe a bit different.
Oh, how so?
We're focusing on the 10 things people who live past 100 consistently seem to avoid. Not what they do, but what they don't do.
That's a really interesting angle because it shifts the focus to the patterns and pitfalls that many of us might fall into without even realizing it. Things these long livers just sidestep.
Exactly. You know, picture it, a 105-year-old still out in her garden each morning. Or I read about a 102-year-old man who learned how to use a smartphone just last year.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the point is, these aren't just like genetic lottery winners. They're part of this growing group of superagers who seem to have figured something out.
And what strikes me from the research isn't just the length of life, but the quality, how they live. They consistently seem to avoid certain patterns that, for the rest of us, can quietly chip away at our health over a lifetime.
Right. And some of these things might genuinely surprise you. Others might make you seriously rethink your daily grind. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding the maybe subtle secrets of these incredible people. So let's get started.
Okay.
So the first habit, or rather the first thing centenarians avoid, it's maybe not what you'd expect, not diet, not exercise.
Yeah.
It's psychological. They just don't hold grudges.
Yeah, this one comes up again and again. When you look at the psychological profiles, there's this almost extraordinary capacity to let go of resentment. They don't seem burdened by past hurts.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Did you have
How much headspace do we give to replaying old arguments or feeling slighted? If they're not doing that, what's the impact?
Well, that's it. Think about the energy drain. But it's more than that. Sources like Harvard Medical School research, they point to the physical toll. Chronic anger, resentment, that triggers stress hormones.
Cortisol, adrenaline, that sort of thing.
Exactly. That constant drip, drip, drip damages your cardiovascular system, messes with your immune function over time. Centenarians seem to get this, maybe intuitively. Forgiveness isn't just, good for the soul. It's literally good for the body. There's a quote from Dr. Sarah Chen, a geriatrician. She said something like, "My oldest patients don't just forget bad things. They actively choose not to let those things define their present."
Actively choose. That's powerful. So is that about being naive or a pushover?
Not at all. They definitely set boundaries. But once an issue is dealt with, they seem to genuinely release the emotional baggage and move on.
Okay, so letting go emotionally, what about physically? The next point is they never stop moving.
Yeah.
But it challenges our usual idea of exercise.
Right, this is crucial. For most centenarians we study, movement isn't, I'm going to the gym for an hour. It's woven into their day.
How so?
They walk to the shop, they take stairs, they garden, they clean, maybe they dance at celebrations. The key isn't hitting some high intensity, it's consistency. Just this steady, moderate activity level, day in, day out, throughout their lives.
So less about workouts, more about what some people call active aging, or even movement snacking. Can you explain that a bit? Movement snacking.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Grabbing those little opportunities to move all day long. Like Michiko in Okinawa, 103 years old, walks to the market every morning.
Wow.
But she doesn't think of it as exercise. For her, it's just life. It's how she gets her fish, chats with neighbors, stays part of things.
Right. It's integrated.
Precisely. And the research backs this up. It's not about having super strength genetics. It's the consistency that matters. They avoid those big swings. Many of us have, intense workout, then hours sitting.
That makes a lot of sense. Consistent movement. Okay, what about another daily ritual? This one seems simple, but our sources say it's huge. Shared meals. Centenarians apparently never, or very rarely, eat alone regularly.
Yeah, there's something almost magical about the shared meal. On a basic level, it often means you eat slower, more mindfully, which helps digestion. But the bigger piece, really.
The social connection.
Exactly. It's this powerful anchor for maintaining relationships.
Yeah.
It provides that crucial emotional support, that feeling of belonging. Reduces stress hormones, too, actually.
So it's less about the specific food, maybe, and more about the whole ritual, the community.
I think that's a huge part of it. They often see meals as highlights, not just fuel stops. Think about the Blue Zone's Sardinia with its big multi-generational meals, Nicoya, Icaria, with those long leisurely dinners.
Yeah.
These aren't just charming customs, they're core longevity strategies. They fight isolation.
Okay, this next one might hit close to home for many of us listening. Centenarians never rush through life. Oof.
Yeah, this one's tough in our modern world, isn't it? But they seem to avoid what some call perpetual urgency. And there's a real physiological cost to always rushing.
How so?
It keeps your body in that low-level stress state, heart rate up, shallow breathing, muscles tense. Do that for decades. It just wears down your system. It's like running the engine too high all the time.
So they have a better temporal perspective. They understand life isn't just a race.
I think so. They seem to grasp that most things we rush for aren't actually that urgent. There's that lovely story of Yannis, the 104-year-old cafe owner in Greece.
Oh, yeah?
He'd say something like, "You cannot rush the sun, and I have learned not to rush myself." He just got the difference between being busy and being productive, or between, moving fast and living well.
You cannot rush the sun. I like that. Makes you think about your own morning scramble. Okay, moving on. They also never neglect mental stimulation, but maybe not in the way we think, like formal brain training.
Right. What stands out is this pervasive, natural curiosity. It's not about doing Sudoku because you feel you should. They read, learn new things, have engaging conversations because they genuinely enjoy it.
It's driven from within.
Exactly. Intrinsic motivation, like the 101-year-old learning email at 95 just to connect with great-grandkids, or the 106-year-old starting watercolors at 80. It's about joy. Connection, not a chore.
So the analogy isn't the brain as a muscle to be hammered, but maybe?
More like a garden to be tended, gently, consistently, with things that genuinely interest you. And that leads to these incredibly rich inner lives, this sense of ongoing discovery.
A tended garden. Nice. Okay, next up, and this feels related to the meals point. They never isolate themselves socially. Isolation seems like kryptonite.
Oh, absolutely. The evidence here is just overwhelming. You look at studies like Harvard's Grant study, decades-long strong relationships were the best predictor of health and happiness later on.
Better than cholesterol levels, even.
Yes. And conversely, isolation is seen as being as damaging as smoking or obesity. It's that significant.
Yeah.
Centenarians seem to understand deep down that connection isn't optional. It's essential fuel.
And it's not passive, right? They actively work at it.
Yes, that persistence is key. Think of Rosa, 103, in Italy. Most of her friends are gone, but does she withdraw? No. She actively builds ties with younger people, shares her stories, mentors them. And there's a nuance here. They aren't afraid of being alone sometimes. That's different from loneliness. They value solitude, but reject permanent isolation.
That's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7. They never ignore their body's signals. They seem to have this really tuned-in relationship with their physical selves.
Yeah, you could call it deep body awareness. It's such a contrast to, grabbing coffee when you're exhausted or popping painkillers to just push through discomfort.
Things many of us do all the time.
Right. Centenarians tend to actually rest when they're tired. They pay attention to aches and pains, maybe investigate them. They give themselves time to recover. It's fundamentally preventative.
So they're listening for the whispers before they become shouts. Like Miguel in Costa Rica, 108, who apparently saw his doctor for small things regularly.
That's a great way to put it. He wasn't waiting for an emergency. It's about developing what psychologists call interoceptive awareness, sensing and interpreting those internal signals.
Interoceptive awareness.
Yeah. And that leads to making choices that actually support your well-being. They distinguish between normal stuff and a signal that needs attention. They work with their bodies, not against them.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Okay, next. They never stop having purpose. This really flies in the face of the traditional idea of retirement as just stopping.
Absolutely. They might retire from their main job, sure, but they never seem to retire from feeling needed, useful, engaged in something bigger than themselves.
And this isn't necessarily about, like, changing the world. Oh.
No, not usually grand missions. It's often more about having meaningful reasons to get up in the morning, contributing in some way. And research consistently links that strong sense of purpose to, well, everything good. Longer life, better cognition, less depression, more resilience.
Wow.
Think of Maria, 102, in Portugal, making traditional bread for her community for over 60 years.
60 years.
Yeah. It connects her to her past, makes her feel vital to her neighbors, and they adapt too. As they age, they find new ways to contribute if the old ways aren't possible anymore.
That adaptability seems key. Okay, here's a really interesting one, almost a paradox. They never completely avoid stress.
Right. This one makes you pause, doesn't it? Given how much we talk about stress reduction. But the key is the type of stress.
Explain that.
They seem brilliant at distinguishing between, let's say, helpful stress short-term, maybe motivating like a deadline, and harmful stress, that chronic, grinding, overwhelming kind.
And they experience the first kind, but manage to stop it turning into the second.
Exactly. They experience setbacks, challenges, loss, like anyone. But they seem to have better tools, perspective, acceptance, focusing on what they can control to process it without letting it become this pervasive chronic burden.
So they don't try to build a bubble around themselves.
No, and in fact, there's this idea of post-traumatic growth. They often seem to come out of hard times stronger, wiser. Remember Eleni, 105, in Greece, lived through WWII, immense hardship.
What does she say?
Something like, every difficult thing taught me something I needed to know. I never tried to avoid learning. It's like they build up stress inoculation by navigating smaller challenges over their lifetime.
Wow. Never tried to avoid learning. Powerful. Okay, that brings us to the 10th and final point, and maybe it underpins all the others. They never give up on tomorrow.
This feels fundamental, doesn't it? Researchers call it adaptive hope. It's not wishful thinking. It's this ability to keep a positive outlook on the future, even while acknowledging current difficulties. It's a kind of survival strategy.
Hope is a strategy. How does that play out?
Well, hope motivates you, right? It motivates self-care, planning, setting goals, even small ones. It fuels resilience. If you believe tomorrow can be good, you'll act in ways to make it so.
Like James in Scotland, 104 years old, planning his garden for next year.
Exactly. Every autumn, planning next year's garden because, as he said, he wants to see what those new tomatoes taste like. It's not grand, but it's tangible, forward-looking.
Of that.
It sums up this mastery they seem to have, balancing the acceptance of mortality with this fierce commitment to living fully, right to the end. It's like living as if you'll die tomorrow, but planning as if you'll live forever.
That's beautifully put. So as we wrap up, the big takeaway seems to be none of this requires being a millionaire or having miracle genes.
Not at all. These are fundamentally choices, attitudes, ways of being that are theoretically available to all of us at any age. Centenarians aren't superhuman. They're just consistently practicing a collection of beneficial habits and mindsets. They avoid the traps.
And the great thing is, their lives give us a kind of roadmap, don't they? We can actually learn from them. You don't have to wait until you're 80 to start.
Absolutely not. The earlier the better, frankly. It's not about achieving perfection overnight. It's about consistency, making small choices day after day that add up over time. Start avoiding these 10 things now.
So for everyone listening, maybe the challenge is to pick just one or two of these points that really hit home for you.
Yeah, don't try to overhaul everything at once. Which one resonated? Not holding grudges, moving more naturally, making time for shared meals. Start there.
Build it into your routine, make it feel natural.
Exactly. And remember, connecting this back, the ultimate goal isn't just stacking up years. It's about putting more life into the years you have, living fully, meaningfully, with joy.
So the final thought for you is really a question. How can you start living today, right now, like someone who plans to be around, healthy, and engaged for a very long time?
The wisdom's there. The choice is yours.